The vast expanse of space twinkled with countless stars, each one a potential home to alien life. In this age of wonders, starships zipped between worlds like cosmic ferries. The galaxy was alive with chatter, trade, and the bustle of 1,000 different species. At the heart of this cosmic community sat the Galactic Council. It was a grand structure, floating in space, its shimmering walls made of a material unknown to most. Inside, representatives from hundreds of worlds debated, argued, and made decisions that shaped the fate of billions. On this day, the council chambers were unusually tense. The topic of discussion: Earth. "These humans," said Zoknar, a blue-skinned alien with 3 eyes. "They're newcomers, primitives. Why are we even considering their petition to join us?" Murmurs of agreement rippled through the chamber, but not everyone was convinced. Ela, a being of pure energy contained in a translucent suit, spoke up. "We were all primitives once. The humans have shown remarkable progress. Their adaptability is unsettling, but impressive." As the debate raged on, none of them noticed the shadow that passed over the nearby moon. A massive ship, darker than the void itself, silently glided by. Its crew watched the council proceedings with cold, calculating eyes. The Exarcheth had arrived. Feared throughout the galaxy, that Exarcheth were the stuff of nightmares. Towering creatures with exoskeletons harder than diamond, claws that could tear through starship hulls, and a reputation for violence that made even the bravest warriors tremble. No one knew where they came from or what they wanted. All anyone knew was that where the Exarcheth went, destruction followed. Back on Earth, blissfully unaware of the cosmic drama unfolding, humanity continued its march towards the stars. In a bustling spaceport in New Shanghai, Dr. Samantha Chen hurried towards her ship, the Curiosity. Sam, as her friends called her, was a xenobiologist. Her life's work was studying alien life forms. At 35, she had already made a name for herself in scientific circles. Her wild theories about alien biology often raised eyebrows, but her results spoke for themselves. "Dr. Chen," a voice called out. Sam turned to see her assistant, Tom, running towards her, waving a datapad. "The latest readings from Proxima Centauri. You need to see this." Sam's eyes widened as she scanned the data. "This can't be right," she muttered. "These energy signatures, they're like nothing we've ever seen before." Little did Sam know, those energy signatures belonged to the Exarcheth ship that had just passed by Earth's closest stellar neighbor. As the Curiosity prepared for launch, news of humanity's petition to join the Galactic Council spread like wildfire. Some humans celebrated, seeing it as a step towards a brighter future. Others worried about losing Earth's identity in the vast cosmic melting pot. In a small diner in Tulsa, Oklahoma, an old farmer named Bill sipped his coffee and watched the news. "Aliens, huh?" He chuckled. "Wonder what they'd make of my prize-winning tomatoes." Halfway across the world, in a high-tech lab in Tokyo, a team of scientists worked tirelessly to reverse engineer alien technology. Their leader, Dr. Yuki Tanaka, stood before a strange device, its inner workings a mystery. "This is our ticket to the stars," she said, determination gleaming in her eyes. Unbeknownst to humanity, their actions were sending ripples across the galaxy. Species that had never given Earth a second thought now watched with growing interest and concern. The Exarcheth, too, had taken notice. In the depths of their massive ship, the Exarcheth leader, a creature known only as the Apex, studied holographic projections of Earth. Its multifaceted eyes reflected the blue and green planet. "Interesting," the Apex hissed, a sound that would have frozen the blood of any who heard it. "These humans, they are different. Perhaps they will provide a challenge worthy of the Exarcheth." As Dr. Chen's ship, the Curiosity, broke free of Earth's atmosphere, as the Galactic Council debated humanity's fate, and as the Exarcheth ship lurked in the shadows, the stage was set for a cosmic drama unlike any the galaxy had ever seen. Humanity, the newcomers, the underdogs, were about to step onto the galactic stage, and the universe would never be the same again. The Curiosity sailed through the inky blackness of space, its sleek hull gleaming under the light of distant stars. Inside, Dr. Samantha Chen pored over the strange energy readings from Proxima Centauri. "Tom, look at this," she called to her assistant. "These patterns, they're almost like a heartbeat." Tom leaned in, his brow furrowed. "But that's impossible. We're talking about energy signatures from space, not a living being." Sam's eyes sparkled with excitement. What if it is a living being? Just on a scale we've never imagined before. Their discussion was interrupted by a sudden blaring of alarms. The ship's AI spoke in its calm, robotic voice. "Unknown object detected. Size, massive. Composition, unknown. Approach vector suggests deliberate intercept course." Sam and Tom rushed to the bridge. Through the view screen, they saw it. A colossal ship, darker than the void itself, bearing down on them. "By all that's holy," Tom whispered. "What is that thing?" Before Sam could answer, a beam of energy lanced out from the alien ship, engulfing the Curiosity in a strange, shimmering field. Panic erupted on the bridge. "We're caught in some kind of tractor beam," the pilot shouted. "Engines are offline." As the Curiosity was pulled inexorably towards the massive alien vessel, news of the encounter spread across human space like wildfire. On Earth, military commands went into overdrive. In Washington, D.C., the president was rushed to a secure bunker. "What do you mean, we can't contact them?" he demanded, his face pale with worry. "Sir," a general explained, "our signals can't penetrate whatever field is surrounding both ships. We're blind and deaf out there." In the Galactic Council chambers, the news caused an uproar. "It's the XRKeth," Zoknar shouted, his three eyes wide with fear. "They've found the humans." Ela's energy form flickered with agitation. "We must intervene. The humans don't stand a chance." But the Council's supreme leader, an ancient being named Xandor, raised a gnarled hand for silence. "We cannot risk open conflict with the XRKeth. We will observe and prepare for the worst." Back on the Curiosity, Sam fought to keep her crew calm. "We're scientists," she reminded them. "Whatever happens, this is a chance to learn, to discover." With a shudder, the Curiosity was pulled into a cavernous docking bay within the XRKeth ship. As the energy field dissipated, Sam and her crew found themselves face to face with the stuff of galactic nightmares. The XRKeth towered over them, easily twice the height of a human. Their exoskeletons gleamed like polished obsidian, wickedly sharp claws flexing at their sides. Multiple eyes, glowing with an inner light, studied the humans with an unsettling intensity. Sam stepped forward, her heart pounding but her voice steady. "I am Dr. Samantha Chen of Earth. We come in peace and in the spirit of scientific exploration." For a long moment, there was silence. Then, to everyone's shock, one of the XRKeth spoke. Its voice was a harsh, clicking sound, but somehow understandable. "Peace," it said, the word sounding strange from its alien mouth. "An interesting concept, human. We know little of peace, but we know much of science." The tension on the bridge was thick enough to cut with a knife. This was not how first contacts usually went. The humans were supposed to be annihilated instantly, not conversed with. In the Galactic Council chambers, the live feed of these events caused utter chaos. "Impossible," Zoknar screeched. "The XRKeth don't talk. They destroy." Ela's form pulsed with intense light. "The humans, they've done the impossible. They've opened a dialogue with the galaxy's deadliest predators." On that Karketh ship, Sam took a deep breath. This was the moment that would define humanity's place in the galaxy. "We would be honored to exchange scientific knowledge," she said. The XRKeth's multiple eyes blinked in unison. "Intriguing," it clicked. "You do not flee. You do not attack. You wish to learn." Sam nodded. That's why we're out here. To learn, to understand, to grow. For the first time in galactic history, a Xarketh showed an emotion other than aggression. It seemed curious. Very well, Dr. Samantha Chen of Earth, the Xarketh said. Let us learn from each other. As this unprecedented exchange unfolded, the galaxy held its breath. Humanity, the newcomers, had just changed the cosmic game in ways no one could have predicted. The adventure was only beginning. Days turned into weeks aboard the massive Xarketh ship. Dr. Samantha Chen, or Sam as she preferred, found herself in a situation beyond her wildest dreams. She was learning about the most feared species in the galaxy, not from textbooks or distant observations, but up close and personal. The Xarketh who had first spoken to them was called Skrith. Sam learned that this name roughly translated to seeker of new things, a concept that seemed at odds with everything the galaxy thought it knew about the Xarketh. Your species fears us, Skrith said one day, its multifaceted eyes gleaming under the ship's strange bioluminescent lights. Sam nodded, her honesty unwavering. Yes, the entire galaxy fears the Xarketh. Your reputation, well, it's pretty terrifying. Skrith made a sound that Sam had come to recognize as laughter. It was like rocks grinding together, yet somehow held a note of genuine amusement. Reputation, Skrith repeated, a concept we understand well. It has served us, until now. Sam's curiosity piqued. What do you mean, until now? Before Skrith could answer, alarms blared throughout the ship. Sam felt a moment of panic, remembering similar alarms on her own ship weeks ago. But Skrith remained calm. Come, it said. You wish to learn. Now is your chance. They rushed to what Sam could only describe as a command center. Other Xarketh moved with surprising grace for their size, their claws dancing over consoles made of some organic-looking material. On a large view screen, Sam saw another ship. It wasn't Xarketh, nor was it human. It was firing weapons at the Xarketh vessel. Who are they? Sam asked, her heart racing. Scavengers, Skrith replied, its voice cold. They believe our ship damage. Easy prey. Sam watched in awe as the Xarketh responded. Their movements were precise, coordinated. Instead of returning fire, they maneuvered their massive ship with impossible agility, dodging every shot. You're not attacking back, Sam observed. Skrith turned its gaze to her. No, we could destroy them easily, but you humans, you've made us curious. There might be another way. With a few clicks and whistles, Skrith issued commands. Suddenly, the attacker's ship was enveloped in the same kind of energy field that had captured the curiosity. Now, Skrith said, we will talk. Sam's mind reeled. The deadly Xarketh, choosing diplomacy over destruction. It went against everything she thought she knew. Over the next few hours, Sam watched as the Xarketh negotiated with the scavengers. There were tense moments, threats made. But in the end, the scavengers left, shaken but unharmed. I don't understand, Sam said once it was over. Why didn't you just destroy them? It's what everyone expects the Xarketh to do. Skrith was quiet for a moment. Expectations, it finally said, can be chains. For too long, we have been bound by what others expect of us. By our own expectations. You humans, you break expectations. Sam felt a warmth in her chest. Was this pride? Not just in humanity, but in being part of this moment. Skrith, she said slowly, I think there's a lot our species could learn from each other. The Xarketh made that grinding laugh sound again. Indeed, Samantha Chen, which is why we have decided to accept your offer of scientific exchange. Sam's eyes widened. Really? That's amazing. But wait, what about the rest of my crew? And Earth? They must be worried sick. Skrith nodded, a very human gesture it seemed to have picked up. We will return you to your ship. You may contact your people. But you, Samantha Chen, We invite to stay, to learn, to teach. Sam felt a moment of vertigo. Stay, on Xarketh's ship. The idea was both thrilling and terrifying. I need to think about it, she said. Of course, Skrith replied. Decisions of importance should not be rushed. As Sam went to break the news to her crew, she felt like she was standing on the edge of a new frontier, not just of space, but of understanding. The feared Xarketh were not what anyone thought they were. And maybe, just maybe, this unlikely bond between a human scientist and a Xarketh seeker of new things could change the galaxy forever. The adventure, it seemed, was only beginning. The news spread across the galaxy like a supernova. Humans and Xarketh cooperating. The impossible had happened, and no one knew quite how to react. In the grand halls of the Galactic Council, chaos reigned. Species that had been enemies for millennia found themselves united in their shock and fear. Zoknar, the blue-skinned, three-eyed alien, pounded his fist on the podium. "This is madness," he shouted. "The humans must have some kind of mind control. It's the only explanation." Ela, the energy being, pulsed with agitation. "Or perhaps," she said, her voice crackling with static, "we've all been wrong about the Xarketh and the humans." The supreme leader, Sandor, called for order. His ancient voice, amplified by technology, echoed through the chamber. "We must approach this situation with caution," he said. "If the humans can befriend the Xarketh, they may be more dangerous than we thought." Meanwhile, on Earth, the reaction was equally intense. In New Shanghai, crowds gathered in the streets, their eyes fixed on massive screens displaying the latest news. Dr. Samantha Chen, Earth's leading xenobiologist, has made first peaceful contact with the Xarketh. The newscaster announced. This marks a historic moment in human history. In a small diner in Tulsa, Oklahoma, old farmer Bill spat out his coffee. "Well, I'll be," he muttered. "Guess them aliens ain't so different after all." But not everyone was celebrating. In the halls of power, leaders argued about the implications of this new development. "We can't trust that Xarketh," one general insisted during a tense meeting at the United Earth Defense HQ. "This could be an elaborate trap." The president, her face lined with worry, shook her head. "But we can't ignore this opportunity either, if there's a chance for peace." As debates raged across the galaxy, Sam found herself at the center of a storm she never could have imagined. She had returned briefly to the Curiosity to update her crew and send messages home. Now she stood in her small cabin, staring at the communication screen in disbelief. Message after message poured in. Some hailed her as a hero, the human who had done the impossible. Others accused her of betraying her species, of falling for some alien trick. "Dr. Chen," one message from Earth's Science Council read, "Your discoveries could revolutionize our understanding of xenobiology. We urge you to return to Earth immediately for a full debrief." Another, from a fringe group, was less friendly. "Traitor, how dare you conspire with humanity's potential destroyers?" Sam felt overwhelmed. She had always wanted to make a difference in the galaxy. But this was more than she had ever dreamed of. A gentle knock on her door startled her. It was Tom, her assistant, looking worried. "Sam," he said, "have you seen the news? The whole galaxy's gone crazy. Some are saying we should cut all ties with the Xarketh. Others want to form an immediate alliance. It's chaos out there." Sam nodded, feeling the weight of the situation. "I know, Tom. But we can't let fear guide our actions. There's so much we don't understand about the Xarketh. That's why." She took a deep breath. "That's why I've decided to accept their offer. I'm going to stay on their ship to learn more." Tom's eyes widened. "Sam, are you sure? It could be dangerous. We don't know their true intentions." "I'm sure," Sam said, her voice firm. "Someone has to take the first step. Besides," she added with a small smile, "I'm a scientist. This is the opportunity of a lifetime." As Sam prepared to return to the Tarketh ship, the galaxy held its breath. Humans, the newcomers, had changed the game in ways no one could have predicted. Old alliances were being questioned, new possibilities were emerging. In the depths of space, aboard their massive vessel, the Exarcheth watched the galactic reaction with their multifaceted eyes. Skrith turned to its fellow Exarcheth. The humans have indeed proven. Interesting. It clicked. Perhaps it is time for the galaxy to see the true face of the Exarcheth. As Sam stepped back onto the Tarketh ship, she couldn't shake the feeling that she was walking into the pages of history. Whatever happened next would change the fate of not just humanity, but the entire galaxy. The adventure, it seemed, was about to reach a whole new level. Dr. Samantha Chen stood in awe, her eyes wide as she took in the sight before her. The Exarcheth had finally allowed her into the heart of their ship, a vast chamber filled with swirling lights and strange, organic-looking technology. "This is incredible," Sam breathed, her scientist's mind racing to understand what she was seeing. Skrith, her Exarcheth guide, and now friend, made a sound that Sam had come to recognize as pleased. "This, Samantha Chen, is the true face of the Exarcheth," it clicked. As Sam walked through the chamber, she noticed something odd. The walls seemed to pulse with life, almost as if, "Is your ship alive?" she asked, hardly daring to believe it. Skrith's multifaceted eyes gleamed. "Yes and no. Our ships are symbiotic organisms. We live with them, not on them." Sam's mind reeled. This was beyond anything she had imagined. But why haven't you shared this with the galaxy? This technology could revolutionize space travel. Skrith was quiet for a moment. When it spoke, its voice was heavy with an emotion Sam couldn't quite identify. "To understand that, you must understand our history." Over the next few hours, Skrith revealed the truth that had been hidden from the galaxy for millennia. That Exarcheth, far from being mindless predators, were a deeply spiritual and scientific race. Their fearsome appearance and advanced technology were the results of adaptation to their harsh home world. "But if you're peaceful, why does the galaxy fear you so much?" Sam asked, struggling to reconcile this new information with everything she thought she knew. Skrith's answer chilled her to the bone. "Because long ago, we made a terrible mistake. The Exarcheth," Skrith explained, "had once been part of the galactic community. But an experiment with dimensional travel went horribly wrong. It opened a rift to another universe, one filled with hostile entities that threatened to invade. We had no choice," Skrith said, its voice filled with ancient sorrow. "We had to close the rift. But to do so, we had to appear as the most fearsome, aggressive species in the galaxy. Only then would others stay away, giving us the isolation we needed to fix our mistake." Sam felt her heart breaking for these misunderstood beings. "So all this time, you've been protecting the galaxy by making it fear you." Skrith nodded, a gesture it had picked up from Sam. "It was the only way. But it came at a great cost. We lost our place in the galactic community. We lost the joy of friendship with other species. We became the monsters we pretended to be." As Sam processed this revelation, alarms suddenly blared throughout the ship. Skrith's posture changed instantly, becoming alert and tense. "What's happening?" Sam asked, fear creeping into her voice. "The rift," Skrith clicked urgently. "It's becoming unstable again. We've managed to keep it contained for millennia. But now..." Sam's scientific mind kicked into high gear. "Let me help," she said without hesitation. "Maybe a fresh perspective is what you need." Skrith seemed to hesitate for a moment, then nodded. "Very well. But understand, Samantha Chen, that by doing this, you will be involving yourself in the greatest secret and the greatest threat the galaxy has ever known." Sam stood tall, her eyes shining with determination. "I understand, and I'm ready." As they rushed to the containment chamber, Sam's mind was whirling. The fate of the galaxy was at stake, and somehow, she, a human scientist who had stumbled into this cosmic drama, was now at the center of it all. In the Galactic Council chambers, unaware of the unfolding crisis, debates still raged about the human Exarcheth alliance. Ela, the energy being, suddenly pulsed with alarm. "I'm detecting massive energy fluctuations from the sector where the Exarcheth ship was last seen," she announced. The chamber fell silent, then erupted in panic. "They're attacking," Zoknar shouted. "I knew we couldn't trust the humans or the Exarcheth." But Supreme Leader Xandor raised a hand for silence. "No," he said, his ancient eyes filled with a mix of fear and wonder. "This is something else. Something older. May the stars help us all." As the Galactic Council scrambled to understand what was happening, Sam and the Exarcheth raced against time to prevent a catastrophe that could unravel the very fabric of their universe. The truth was out, but the greatest challenge was yet to come. The fate of not just humanity, not just the Exarcheth, but the entire galaxy now hung in the balance. The Exarcheth ship shuddered as another wave of energy pulsed from the dimensional rift. Dr. Samantha Chen stumbled, catching herself against a wall that felt unnervingly alive. "We're running out of time," Skrith clicked urgently. "The rift is expanding faster than we can contain it." Sam's mind raced. She had spent the last few hours poring over the Exarcheth's data on the rift, trying to understand the complex interdimensional physics at play. "We need help," she said suddenly. "This is too big for just us. We need to tell the Galactic Council." Skrith's multiple eyes blinked in unison. "Impossible. They would never believe us. They fear us too much." Sam stood her ground. "They'll have to believe us when they see the data. And right now, we don't have a choice. If that rift fully opens, it won't matter who trusts who. We'll all be doomed." After a moment of tense silence, Skrith nodded. "Very well, but how do we convince them?" Sam grinned, an idea forming. "Leave that to me. Humans have a knack for the impossible." Meanwhile, in the Galactic Council chambers, panic was spreading. The energy readings from the Exarcheth ship's location were off the charts and growing stronger by the minute. Zoknar was shouting for immediate military action. Ela was trying to analyze the energy signature, and Supreme Leader Xandor was calling for calm, even as worry etched deep lines in his ancient face. Suddenly, every screen in the chamber lit up with an incoming transmission. The council fell silent as Dr. Samantha Chen's face appeared. "Members of the Galactic Council," Sam began, her voice steady despite the chaos around her. "I know you're scared. I know you don't trust the Exarcheth. But right now, you need to listen." Over the next few minutes, Sam laid out the situation. She explained the true history of the Exarcheth, the nature of the dimensional rift, and the threat it posed to the entire galaxy. "This is preposterous," Zoknar sputtered. "Why should we believe any of this?" "Because," Sam said, her eyes flashing with determination, "I'm sending you all the data right now. Every bit of research that Exarcheth have done on the rift for the past 1,000 years. Verify it yourselves." As the data streamed in, the council's top scientists pored over it. The chamber was filled with murmurs of disbelief, then growing alarm as the truth became undeniable. Ela's energy form pulsed rapidly. "She's right. This rift, it's like nothing we've ever seen. If it fully opens, then we must close it," Xandor said, his voice cutting through the noise. "Dr. Chen, what do you need from us?" Sam felt a wave of relief wash over her. "We need your best scientists, your most advanced technology. The Exarcheth have been holding this rift closed for millennia, but their methods are failing. We need new ideas, and we need them fast." What followed was unprecedented in galactic history. Species that had been bitter enemies found themselves working side by side. The most brilliant minds from 100 worlds pored over the data, proposing and discarding ideas at a frantic pace. On the Exarcheth ship, Sam coordinated the efforts, translating between the Exarcheth and the rest of the galaxy. It was exhausting, terrifying work, but she had never felt more alive. As hour after hour passed, the situation grew increasingly dire. The rift continued to expand, and strange, otherworldly energies began to seep through. "We're almost out of time," Skrith warned, its usual calm demeanor cracking under the strain. But just when all seemed lost, a breakthrough came from an unexpected source. A young Arcturian scientist, working with a team of Harketh engineers, proposed a daring plan. "If we can't close the rift," the Arcturian said, her tentacles waving with excitement, "maybe we can move it." The plan was risky, borderline insane. It involved using the combined power of every ship in the gathered fleet to create a massive gravitational field, essentially pulling the rift away from populated space. "But where would we move it?" Sam asked. The answer came from Skrith. "There's a region of dead space, far from any inhabited worlds. If we can move the rift there." Sam nodded, understanding. It would buy us time to find a permanent solution. As the plan was put into motion, Sam looked around at the incredible sight before her. Hexarketh working alongside humans, Arcturians, and a dozen other species. Old hatred set aside in the face of a common threat. In that moment, despite the danger, Sam felt a surge of hope. If they could come together like this in a crisis, maybe there was hope for lasting peace in the galaxy. As the combined fleet prepared for the most daring maneuver in galactic history, Sam took a deep breath. Whatever happened next would change everything. The adventure, it seemed, was far from over. The combined fleet of ships from across the galaxy hung in space, their engines thrumming with power. At the center of it all was the massive Tarketh vessel, the dimensional rift pulsing ominously before it. Inside the Tarketh ship, Dr. Samantha Chen stood at a makeshift command center, surrounded by beings from a dozen different worlds. The air was thick with tension. "All ships report ready," a human officer announced. Sam nodded, her heart pounding. "Skrith, are we set?" The Exarcheth clicked an affirmative. "It is now or never, Samantha Chen." Sam took a deep breath. "All right, everyone. Let's make history. Initiate gravitational pull. Now." As one, the assembled ships fired their engines. The space around the rift began to warp and twist. For a heart-stopping moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, slowly at first but with increasing speed, the rift began to move. "It's working," someone shouted. But their elation was short-lived. As the rift moved, it began to fluctuate wildly. Strange, otherworldly shapes could be seen through its shimmering surface. "The movement is destabilizing it," Skrith warned. "We must move faster." Sam relayed the order, and the ship's increased power. The strain was enormous. Warning lights flashed across consoles as systems were pushed to their limits. Just when it seemed they couldn't hold on any longer, the rift suddenly snapped into place in its new location. There was a moment of stunned silence. Then cheers erupted across the comm channels. But Sam knew their work wasn't done. "Quick," she ordered. "We need to stabilize it before it expands again." What followed was a frantic race against time. Scientists and engineers from across the galaxy worked together, applying technologies and theories that had never been combined before. The Exarcheth's ancient knowledge melded with cutting-edge innovations from younger races. Hours passed in a blur of activity. Finally, as Sam was nearing exhaustion, Skrith approached her. "Samantha Chen," it said, its voice filled with an emotion she had never heard from a Exarcheth before. "It is done. The rift is stable." The realization of what they had accomplished washed over Sam. They had saved the galaxy. More than that, they had brought together species that had been enemies for millennia. In the days that followed, the galaxy changed. The truth about the Tarketh spread, and with it, a new era of understanding began to dawn. In a historic session of the Galactic Council, the Exarcheth were officially welcomed back into the galactic community. Skrith stood before the assembled representatives, its imposing form no longer a source of fear, but of respect. "For too long, we isolated ourselves to protect you all," Skrith said. "But in doing so, we lost sight of the value of connection, of collaboration. We thank you for giving us a chance to rejoin you." Supreme Leader Xandor, his ancient eyes twinkling, responded, "It is we who should thank you. Your sacrifice protected us all for millennia, and it was your willingness to trust, to reach out to Dr. Chen, that saved us in our hour of need." Sam, standing to the side, felt a warmth in her chest. She had never imagined her scientific curiosity would lead to this. In the months that followed, the galaxy underwent a transformation. The combined scientific knowledge of the Exarcheth and the other races led to incredible advancements. The Exarcheth's bioorganic ship technology was adapted for peaceful uses, revolutionizing space travel and exploration. But perhaps the most significant change was in how the different species interacted. Old prejudices began to fade as beings from different worlds worked together, learned from each other, and formed new friendships. 1 year after the Rift incident, Sam stood on the observation deck of a new joint-species space station. She watched ships of all shapes and sizes dock, carrying beings from across the galaxy. Skrith joined her, its large form no longer intimidating to her. "You changed everything, Samantha Chen," it said. Sam shook her head, smiling. "We all did. We just needed a chance to understand each other." As they stood there, watching the bustle of intergalactic cooperation, Sam felt a sense of wonder. The galaxy had faced its greatest threat and emerged stronger, more united. The adventure, it seemed, was just beginning. And humanity, once the newcomers, now stood at the forefront of a new age of galactic peace and discovery. As Sam looked out at the stars, she knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together. The future, vast and bright, beckoned.